Hello and welcome to the final program in the current series of From Saba to Barbados, the Maritime Legacy of Captain Eric Hassell. I'm Sherwood McCaskey, as always. Thanks for your time. In last week's program, a number of individuals who came into contact with Captain Eric Hassell at one point in time or the other shared their special memories of him. In this week's program, we are right here at the building that now is dignified by his name. And so we begin this week's program with a smiling managing director, Erica Luke, who praises the work of her employees.
Yeah, I have right-hand women and men. So my accountant is female, Sandra Guy Arthur. She's an amazing accountant. I have Mark Hassell, my cousin, who is the Director of Sales and Business Development. And last but not least, I have Mitchell Ford, who is our Operations Manager and who's been with the company since 1981. So he's one of our longest serving employees. I think Cammy Springer is the only other one who's served longer than Mitchell. But Mitchell is our operations manager. He's the one who's boarding the ships every day, day in, day out, on our behalf.
To your young people, you might wish to think of this program as a career showcase in the shipping industry. Of course, several jobs are available to you. One such is that of marketing manager.
Eric Hassell Shipping is our main flagship company, which we're the agents for Seaboard Marine, which sails out of Miami and comes to Barbados. The vast majority of cargo coming into Barbados comes from Miami and comes down the Caribbean chain to Barbados. I wear two hats. On the sales side, that involves leading a team who they go on the road, they interface with customers, and they attempt to secure business on behalf of our principals, Seaboard Marine, MSC, Windward Freight Services, KLC, the list goes on, depending on the location in which people are trying to import cargo from. Business development is interfacing with external counterparties in order to bring new lines of business or growth to attract revenue. So that may involve some travel either to the US or Europe to meet with new principals, new carriers, new shipping lines, and attempt for us as a shipping agent to represent them.
When I meet customers, I try to sell the services that we offer. So say for instance, I come to see you and you're working at the Crane Hotel. I know that the Crane doing a lot of refurbishing. They're bringing in linen, furniture, building material, all that kind of stuff. And my job is to find out from you what the commodities are, where they're coming from, Far East, Europe, US. Provide you with ports. You must know the transit times because at least you have to know the lead times in terms of, because you have deadlines to meet with your project managers and so on, and I would have to be aware of all that so that I can give you accurate information.
That is a function that we provide kind of just as part of our everyday existence as a ship agent. So, it's not uncommon for a customer to call and ask, well, what's the status of this? I'm bringing this particular commodity from Malaysia and it's supposed to take 65 days to get here. Where is it? And we'll give them an updated ETA, based on how it's tracking at the various ports that it needs to get to. A lot of that tracking is provided by our principal carriers, either MSC, Seaboard Marine, Windward Freight, depending on where it's coming from. And then we then relay that tracking to the customer in turn.
And of course, the price has to be right. So, because at the end of the day, not that it's everything, but it's important because we all have budgets to meet.
It's challenging. I think time management is a constant challenge, especially if I have to travel and I'm at a conference for 3 or 4 days. The nature of shipping is such that problems arise, and they need to be dealt with pretty urgently. And so being available to my customers, by cell phone, or being available to salespeople that need my help, and at the same time balancing that with the business development activities, that can be pretty challenging. Of course, I think in any industry, dealing with customers who are facing a challenge, that can be hard. We tend to look at that as an opportunity to really shine. So, it's when something goes wrong, or if something goes wrong, being able to help that customer to solve their problem or to address their problem is really where we try to differentiate ourselves relative to our competition.
There are some customers that can be very challenging. Some people, you can never please them enough. It's never enough. And you get those, whether it's in shipping or whatever other industry. You always meet those type of people. But I love the job. I mean, after 17 years of being here, and I've been in the industry for over 26 years. And I started as a secretary. And I've worked in every single department in a shipping company except operations. Operations is, working with vessels and stuff like that. But accounts, customer service, front desk, sales.
Once again, for our youth who are interested in this business, there are several career paths and jobs available. One such is that of shipping agent. Exactly what is a shipping agent and what is expected in this role?
Our role as shipping agent is to help them navigate that process and help them to understand exactly, based on the logistical characteristics of their operation, this line's better for you, that line's better for you. We recommend 40 foot, we recommend 20 foot. So it means that our role changes from that of just being a sales entity, providing rates to a customer, to being more consultative, to helping them to helping them solve their problems, to helping them solve their logistical issues. So as the industry evolves, constantly finding ways to reinvent ourselves and to provide value to our customers, that remains our day-to-day challenge. But as we know, a lot of companies in Barbados import, whether it's raw materials for manufacturing, whether it's inventory for a retail store, whether it's food and groceries for a supermarket, or whether it's furniture just to set up a new office, or construction materials for a new hotel. A lot of companies have a need to import things from, whether it's the US, UK, Canada, regionally, Trinidad, Jamaica, Savannah, Georgia, New York in the northeastern US, or Miami and Florida. And so you have to think, okay, who's going to bring it in for me? What shipping line am I going to go to? I think when you come to Eric Hassell Shipping and you deal with any of the group of companies, whether it's Eric Hassell Shipping, Blue Water Shipping, or EHS Freightliner, which is our off-port customs bonded warehouse. It's about a quarter mile north of here on Spring Garden Highway. It's a warehouse, but it's not just a storage warehouse. What that means and the value that provides to our customers is, you've always heard about people bringing in barrels, right, for back to school, for Christmas. And then you hear about these horror stories of, 5-10 years ago, they would go and they would have to spend a lot of time in long lines and dealing with unfriendly faces and poor customer service. In having our off-port warehouse, it allows customers to bypass going to the Barbados port, and they can collect their barrels directly from us. Customs officers are there on site from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. 5 days a week. During Christmas, they've even will even open late on Fridays and alternatively on Saturdays. And it really provides a clean, bright, airy, modern space for them to come, collect their cargo, get it inspected, pay their duties, pay their fees, and just go along their business in a much shorter time space than if they're doing it at the port. We help you to answer that question. And especially in today's modern day world where you're no longer bringing all of your goods from the US. You may bring some raw materials from Miami, you may bring some finished goods from the UK, and you may bring some raw materials from South America. You need to have a partner locally on island who can help you navigate all of the various logistical concerns and make sure that it all gets here safely and at optimizing for cost or for speed or for both. And that's where we see ourselves. We're partners for companies that need to import and export product into and out of Barbados. I enjoy what I do here because no 2 days are the same. The only thing the same about from Monday to Tuesday is I may get in the same time and I may leave the same time. But in terms of which customers me and the team get to see or what problems we get to address or what opportunities we get to uncover and pursue, no 2 days are the same, so it's never boring.
We continue to see this program as a career showcase in the shipping industry. And for our young people interested in such careers, you will note that it is never boring. There is never a moment that lacks some form of excitement.
When they come into the island, we go aboard with the officials, customs, immigration, health, that kind of people, and we ensure that all the paperwork is in order for the vessel to carry out its operations.
After everybody comes aboard, the captain has prepared the paperwork, which I would have distributed to various officers of immigration and customs. These are the information like the crew list, accounts for everybody on board, the ports of call. Here at Barbados, we usually require the last 10 ports prior to coming to Barbados. So we have what we call the ports of call list. All the officials also handle.
Export visas.
The captain would have provided us with the information and his arrival time, his last port, and his next port call. And he has to give us like his bunkers, we call the fuel and stuff on board, fresh water, in case he requires any.
Most of the vessels coming here are regular vessels. So the captains, the chief mates and stuff, they're familiar with the requirements. So that makes our job pretty easy. But every now and then you get new personnel or you get a new ship. So you have to go through all the paperwork. Fortunately, with the technology, we can communicate via email and we get to explain and thrash out what we need. So usually by the time the ship gets here, they know what's expected, and it makes things a lot easier than in the past. We still handle the inter-island vessels, which is mostly like fruit and produce from the islands, but we also handle all the containerized stuff from the US and Europe and Far East and stuff. So we got to make sure that all the various agencies have the information necessary. Like, for instance, if you have cold storage, the health people have to be aware and stuff like that.
In a previous program, you were told of how the cargo was handled in the careenage during the initial stages of the operation when the business was led by the late Captain Peace, Eric Hassell. What about the handling of the cargo today?
Okay, we don't actually check the cargo itself, right? There's an agent, the Shipping Association, they have what we call tally clerks who look after the tallying of the cargo. But we liaise with them to make sure that what we have and what they're getting, is the same. And should there be any discrepancies, we also handle that with the port, but we make sure that at the end of the day, what we expect to happen is happening or has happened. So that when the ship is finished, we have to notify now the marine department at the port. This is the pilot and the linesman and that kind of thing. So they would sail the ship. But our work doesn't stop there. That's only the delivery of the cargo into Barbados. But after that now, okay, the ladies would they notify the consignees, the importers. They will come to release their documents with us. We still doing all that paper. And if they go to the port and there is something amiss, either with their documents or with their cargo, again, we have to look after that to make sure that everything pans out.
There is something absolutely special about doing a job and doing it well and deriving great pleasure in so doing. Now, in performing that special job, you're often asked, what brings you the greatest pleasure?
Yeah, well, of course, first and foremost would be the satisfaction of customers. You know, they don't always come back and say anything, but the mere fact that you would have helped them, you know, it gives you a lot of satisfaction. For instance, we get this at the port. There's a shed called Shed 2, which deals a lot of personal effects. And if you are familiar with Barbados and Barbadian culture, you know, we call you by a name that is not your name or is not on your ID card. But yet people go and they ship things to this name, this pseudonym, right? And then when they get to the port, they're stuck. And, you know, although their ID card or their, you know, their driver's license or something, their passport has the correct name, they could say something else and they can't understand why they can't get the goods, you know. And so we come in there and we try and get them appeased and we get them sorted. And once they go on their way, for me, that has made my day, you know. And it happens like, especially with older people, you know, older people. And with the cargo now, again, if there's a problem with the documentation and the goods don't correspond, some customers are very, very jittery because like some of them want these goods, like for instance, our vessel comes on Wednesdays from Miami and you get a lot of importers coming out of Miami and they want their things in their shops for the weekend. So every minute that they're lost, they start to panic, you know. So sometimes you got to make sure that you pull people from one thing to go and deal with that person. And like I said, even if the person doesn't come back and say thanks, the mere fact that you would have gotten them, made them happy to know that they have been able to get their goods cleared to put into their shops and things. You know, all of the things that you look forward to.
I was traveling, I was in the US for a conference. My cell phone rang at 7 p.m. and it was a US mobile number that I didn't recognize. And when I answered, the individual said, "Mark," and I said, "Yes." And he said, "It's XYZ. I'm about to put you into a conference call with our company attorney and the head of finance." And exactly, right? I'm like, well, can you give me some context so that I know like what's happening here? Like, should I call our lawyer? Like, what's going on? He said, well, no, you know, we've sent some cargo from the US to one of our subsidiary companies in Barbados. We sent twice as much cargo and half of it was supposed to go to Jamaica and it's gonna arrive at your warehouse in a couple of days. And we just need help understanding like what our options are. And it felt really good to be able to say, okay, no, that's pretty manageable and we can handle that. So jumped on the conference call, talked everyone through the process, then spoke to our warehouse manager at 7:30 p.m. We then came up with a small plan as to what we were going to do. 8 a.m. that morning, jumped on another call with the client, said, this is what we're going to do. It turned out that cargo was arriving the next week, so I was back in Barbados. Went to the warehouse, the cargo arrived. We managed to execute an operation where their staff came in and identified the cargo that was going to be routed to Jamaica versus the cargo that was remaining in Barbados. Then we packed the cargo that was heading to Jamaica, and it was a seamless operation. And the email and follow-up call that we got from them, they admitted, we were really panicked about this and we were really worried about this because it was urgent cargo at the time, and you managed to turn this around really quickly. That was really, it was really satisfying that the team could get together and solve their problems so quickly for such a large organization. I can't really say their name, but they're one of the regional conglomerates. So it was really satisfying.
In a previous program, we discussed the formation of the business 50 years ago, its evolution, and its use of a number of spaces in the capital city. What is the future of the business today?
The business is very much transforming from us just being a pricing service and just providing here's a price from Miami to Barbados, and really becoming a solution provider or an advisor and helping our customers to solve their deeper logistical needs. And so it becomes less of a conversation of, okay, you're cheaper than this person or this person's cheaper than you, and it becomes, they've been shipping with us for the last 10 years, and as their business grows and elevates to the next level, and they go, okay, well, now we're going to open a company in Trinidad, and we now have to import and export between Trinidad and Barbados, and how's that going to work? Or we're going to start bringing in small packages, and we need them delivered from your warehouse to our office, and will you be able to provide seamless door-to-door delivery? And it's really about just extending along the value chain and finding new and innovative ways to provide value to our customers.
We could not overemphasize the importance of having the correct attitude, which is among the good ethics on which Captain Peace built his business.
I think over the years, Hassell has, if I might blow our own trumpet, we have gained a pretty good reputation with a lot of the people out there. And we have gained a lot of respect from the business community. And I've seen our volumes increase as a result, and it's great because we are competing with external agents. In fact, I think that we are probably the only local agent now in the market. And I think we have the advantage of that. We can relate to the customers.
Yet another interesting job. There is so much fulfillment to be enjoyed when you take pride in what you do. Valuable lessons for our youth.
Eric Hassell, the company is still a very helpful in terms of their staff. They still would assist staff when they need rises. And I remember we had a situation here with one of our previous staff members took ill on the job and had a mild stroke, and the company went all out to help her. She was off for a while, she was paid, and things like that. We had another staff member whose daughter, wasn't born with seizures, but something happened along the way, went to seizures, and the company assisted her with traveling overseas to seek medical attention. So Eric Hassell is a company, yes, it gives back to its customers and to its staff especially in a big, big way. And anytime there's a need, you can go to management and speak to them, and they will try to assist you wherever they can. I find the camaraderie in the staff among staff is very good. And you find people are here working sometimes 9 o'clock at night, and they are here because they have a job to do. Yes, it's an 8 to 4 business, but still, we have deadlines to meet. There are things to be done, and people will stay back and do it. Recently, we've had quite a few bank holidays, and staff are here on Easter Monday and Mid-Monday doing work because we have a ship that's going to be here on Wednesday. and we have paperwork to submit to, to the port. So whereas in some other businesses, the culture is one of like, oh, I work 8 to 4 and that's it. That doesn't happen at Hassell. Staff are here long hours. I mean, it's early in the morning, late at night, and they do what they have to do to get their job done. And, they're rewarded for their efforts as well. We also recently took on, as part of the 50th anniversary celebration, we took on a school project with Wesley Hall. And the staff really turned out so well. Came out, everybody painted, and, it was a real team effort. And it was exciting, And things like that we will do from time to time, where we would donate of our time to schools. And it's something that we plan on doing on an ongoing basis because, after a while you realize, look, yeah, you're in a business, but you have to give back. So, and there are people out there, especially in our Bridgetown community, that need help. So we thought that working with the schools would be a good opportunity to help the kids because they're small children and they're now coming, up in society and their minds are very impressionable. And if you can lend a helping hand to someone, why not start with a child?
And that, no doubt, is the legacy of the late Captain Eric Hassell, giving back, sharing and caring for everyone, and seeking to leave this world a better place than how you found it. We cannot begin to thank you enough for taking this special journey with us from the northeastern Caribbean island of Saba to Barbados. Now, that journey also took us to Belleville, to Robert Street, to the Barnes Building and other buildings in our capital city, and it ends right here in this building just off the mighty Griner Highway that is dignified by the name of the man himself, the late Captain Eric Hassell. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. This has been From Saba to Barbados, the maritime legacy of Captain Eric Hassell. Thanks for your time and goodbye for now.